person, the team finally has the power to make a bold move again. Report says that the owner Jerry Jones and his front office have identified two top players they are really like. These players are Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain Jr. Both players are considered elite talents and could become stars in NFL. However, there are some concerns. Caleb Downs has had injury worries, especially with his knee, while Ruben Bain Jr. has questions about his physical measurements. Even with these risks, the Cowboys might still take a chance because they need top talent on the defense. Now, let us talk about the biggest problem for the team right now, the linebacker position. After losing key players and dealing with the injuries, the Cowboys are left with a very limited option. One of the few reliable players is Demarshon Overshawn, but even he has not fully taken control of the defense yet. This brings us to an important role called the green dot. This is a player who communicates with the coaches during the game and tells the rest of the defense what to do. Usually this role is given to linebacker because they stand in the middle of the defense and can see everything clearly. Right now, the Cowboys do not have a clear leader for this role, which is a big concern. There is an interesting idea being discussed right now. Could a safety take this responsibility? The Cowboys recently added Jalen Thompson, and he is known for being smart and experienced. Some people believe he could handle the green dot role. However, this is not a perfect solution because safeties do not always play close to the line of the scrimmage. That makes communication more difficult during fast plays. So, while it is possible, it may not be the best option for the team. Because of this, the Cowboys are also looking at free agents. One name that stands out is Bobu Okeleke. He is a proven player with years of experience. He has made many tackles in his career and has already handled the green dot role before. Bringing in a veteran like him could help to stabilize the defense and provide the leadership that the team currently lacks. But the Cowboys are not only focusing on linebackers, they are also looking closely at the cornerback position. Defense in today's NFL requires flexibility, and having strong cornerbacks is very important. One player getting a lot of attention is Ovion Talel from the Clemson. He recently had a meeting with the Cowboys, which shows serious interest from the team. Talel is seen as a player who can solve multiple problems. Even though he is not the biggest player, he is very quick and can play different roles, including nickel corner. This is important because the Cowboys want to keep Dallon Bland on the outside, where he performs best. Coaches believe Brand can shut down one side of the field, so adding a strong nickel corner would make the defense more competent. However, there are still concerns about Talel's health. He had a hamstring injury that prevented him from finishing workouts early. The Cowboys are carefully studying this situation before making a final decision. Health is always a big factor when it comes to draft picks. As we get closer to draft, one thing is very clear. The Cowboys are focused on rebuilding their defense. The trade of the Micah Parsons created a big hole, but it also gave the team new opportunities with extra draft picks, possible trades, and free agent option. The Cowboys have many ways to improve. Fans should expect aggressive moves. This could includes trading up and signing experienced players and drafting young stars who can make an immediate impact. The team knows that defense wins games, and they are trying to build units that can compete at highest level again. So as the 2026 NFL draft gets closer, excitement continues to grow. Will the Cowboys trade up for superstar? Will they find their defensive leader, or will they surprise everyone with an unexpected move? One thing is certain, the big changes are coming, and the future of the team is being shaped right now. Thank you for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, this update, do not forget to like, subscribe, and George Pickens, one of the most exciting wide receivers on the team, and a trade proposal that could completely change the future of the Dallas Cowboys. This is not just a small rumor, this is a move that could impact the entire direction of the team, especially heading into 2026 NFL draft. Let's break down everything step by step. Right now, most of the attention around the Cowboys is focused on upcoming draft. Fans and analysts are asking one big question. Will Dallas trade up in the first round to get superstar player? But while that conversation is happening, something else very important is quietly developing in the background. That is the future of the George Pickens. The Cowboys placed a franchise tag on him before a new league year started. That means he is granted a massive one-year salary for the 2026 season. However, there is still no long-term contract, and that creates uncertainty because without a long-term deal, there is no guarantee that Pickens will stay with the team beyond this season. And sometimes when teams face that kind of situation, they start thinking about trade option. Now here is where things get very interesting. A trade idea has been suggested where the Dallas Cowboys would send George Pickens to the Baltimore Ravens. In return, the Cowboys would receive a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. Think about that for a moment. First-round pick is extremely valuable. It is not just about one player. It is about flexibility, power, and ability to reshape your team for the future. If this offer is real, many people believe the Cowboys should seriously consider it. Some even say it would be a very easy decision. At first, trading star wide receiver might sound like a bad idea. After all, Pickens was a part of the offense last season. He made big plays and he showed strong energy, and he proved that he can be a number one receiver. But football is not just about today, it is about tomorrow as well. If Dallas accepts this trade, they would again and gain something even more valuable, control over the future. With the extra first round pick, the Cowboys could have 3 picks in the top 20 of the draft. That is a powerful position to be in. What can be the draft strategy and possibilities for the Dallas Cowboys now? Now imagine this scenario. The Cowboys used 2 of their first round picks to trade up into a top 5. That would allow them to target a true elite defensive player, someone who can change the games, someone who can become the face of the team and the defense for the years. Last season, the Cowboys' defense struggled a lot. It lagged near to the bottom of the league. That is a big problem, of course, but with the right draft strategy, that problem can turn into the strength. After trading up, Dallas would still have another first round pick kept. That means they would still add another strong player, maybe a linebacker or an edge rusher or a cornerback. So, in one draft, they could completely rebuild their defense. This kind of the move is not just about numbers, it is about identity. If the Cowboys go in this direction, they are sending a clear message. They are saying we are building for long-term success. They are focusing on defense, they are focusing on depth, and they are focusing on creating a balanced team. Also, there is another important factor. A young receiver named Ryan Funoy is starting to show potential. His development could make Pickens less essential to the team, so the Cowboys might feel more comfortable making this move. And what about George Pickens himself? Now let's talk about Pickens himself. If he joins Baltimore Ravens, it could actually be a great opportunity for him. The Ravens need a true number one wide receiver, and Pickens could step into that role immediately. And there are also a personal storyline. He would get a chance to play against his former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 times every year. That adds extra motivation. Sometimes a fresh start can bring out the best in a player. Of course, there is risk and controversy. Not everyone will agree with this move. Some fans will say it is too risky to trade a proven playmaker. Others will worry about weakening the offense. And that is understandable because trades like this are never easy. They require bold thinking, they require confidence, and most importantly, they require a clear vision for the future. At the end of the day, this decision comes down to one question. Do the Cowboys want to win now or build something strong for the future? Trading George Pickens for the first round pick might not be popular, but it could be the move that changed everything. With more draft power, more flexibility, and more chance to build defense, this could be a turning point for the franchise. The 2026 draft is coming soon, and if this trade becomes real, it could shake up the entire league. So, what do you think, Cowboys fans? Should Dallas trade George Pickens for the first round pick, or should they keep him? Today we are talking about a very exciting name in the 2026 NFL draft. A player who could completely change the Cowboys defense. A player who could turn a weak position into a major strength. His name is Mansour Delane. We trust that this name you need to remember and to know. First of all, you have to ask yourself, who is Mansour Delane? Mansour Delane is a talented cornerback who played a college football at Louisiana State University. He stands at 6 feet tall and weighs around 187 pounds. He has a strong build, great speed, and excellent awareness on the field. Before joining Louisiana State University, Mansour Delane started his college career at Virginia Tech. Interestingly, he was recruited there by Ryan Smith, who is now part of the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. Even though Ryan Smith never got a chance to coach him at Virginia Tech, there is already a connection between Mansour Delane and the Cowboys organization, and sometimes those connections matter a lot when it comes to the NFL league draft. Right now, Mansour Delane is considered one of the top cornerbacks in the entire 2026 draft class. Some experts believe he could be the first cornerback selected in many mock drafts. He is projected as a top 5 pick, and almost always within a top 10. Now, here is where things get interesting. The Dallas Cowboys are expected to peak around number 12. That means teams like Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and Miami Dolphins could select Delane before the Cowboys even get a chance. So if the Cowboys really want him, they may need to trade up in the draft, or they will have to hope that those teams choose different position instead. This creates a very dramatic situation for the Dallas. Do they stay patient and take the risk, or do they make a bold move to secure one of the best defensive talents in the draft? Now, let's talk about why Mansour Delane would be such a big addition. The Cowboys have made some moves at cornerback position recently. They added players like Kobe Durant and Delion Kendrick. They also still have key players like Dallon Bland and Shavon Lever, but they are still questioned. There are concerns about consistency. There are concerns about health. And there are still a need for a true number one cornerback. That is where Delane comes in. He has the ability to guard the opposing team's best wide receiver. He is very strong in man-to-man coverage. He reads the game well and reacts quickly when the ball is in the air. He is also the fast enough to stay with the quickest receivers down the field. Even though he may not have the longest arms compared to some players like Dallas liked in the past, his performance on tape shows that he is an impact player and not just a good player but a potential star. Another big factor in the Cowboys defensive coordinator, Christian Parker. Christian Parker has a strong reputation for developing young defensive backs into elite players. Under right coaching, Mansour Delane could grow into all-pro level cornerback. That means not just a starter, but one of the best players in NFL at his position. This combination of the talent and the coaching could be very dangerous for the opposing teams. If the Cowboys manage to draft Delane, their entire secondary could change overnight. Imagine a lineup with Mansour Delane, Dallon Bland, Shavon Lever, and Kobe Durant. That is depth. That is competition. Of course, that is a quality. Suddenly, what used to be a question mark become a strength. The Cowboys would have a flexibility as well. They could move players into different roles, including the slot position, depending on matchups. That gives the defense more option and makes it harder for the offenses to attack weakness. Of course, nothing is granted. There is risk and questions. There are still some important questions like, will Dallon Bland return to the full health? Will Shavon Lever stay fit throughout of the season? Can the entire group build chemistry quickly? They are real concerns. But if things go right, this could be one of the best secondaries in the league. Mansour Delane is not just another draft prospect, he is a potential game changer, a player who could redefine the Dallas Cowboys defense for the years to come. But getting him will not be easy. The Cowboys may not be, maybe they're aggressive, of course, they may need to take a risk, and they may need to little bit of luck. So, the big question is this: should the Cowboys trade up to draft Mansour Delane, or should they stay patient and trust the board? Let me know in your what do you think in the comments. And this is the end of the story. We'll see if the Mansour Delane will join the Dallas Cowboys in this 2026 NFL draft. And we can say that thank you for watching us. And if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content. We bring the latest news, rumors, and deep analysis. The Cowboys gave up too much for him. However, when you look closely, this trade actually makes a lot of sense. Gary is a strong and consistent defensive player. He fills a major needs on the defensive line, and the Cowboys need help with their pass rush, and Gary gives them exactly that. He is experienced, powerful, and ready to contribute immediately. This was clearly a win-now move for the Dallas. Another area where Cowboys improved was in the secondary. They added players like Jalen Thompson, Kobe Durant, and Delion Kendrick. These are not the biggest names in football, but they bring something very important, such as versatility and depth. The new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, is known for working well with defensive backs. So these signings were clearly part of the bigger plan. The Cowboys want to build a flexible and intelligent defense that can adapt to different situations. This was another smart move by the front office. However, not everything went perfectly as planned. One of the biggest mistakes the Cowboys made was not re-signing Jadeveon Clowney. Clowney finished last season very strong. In the final games, he showed that he can still be a dominant force in the defense. Letting him go creates a gap in the pass rush rotation. Even through the Cowboys added Lash and Gary, keeping Clowney would have made the defensive line very, very strong. This decision is still confusing to many fans, but the biggest concern right now is the linebacker position. The Cowboys currently have a very thin group at linebacker. They have young players like DeMarvion Overshawn, but they lack experience and leadership in the middle of the defense. And this is where veteran players become very important. And that brings us to first potential signing. Let's talk about Bob Wagner. Bob Wagner is the future Hall of the Fame player even at 35 years old. He is still playing at high level. Last season he recorded over 160 tackles along with the sacks and interceptions. This is incredible production for a player at his age. More importantly, Bob Wagner brings leadership. He understands the game at very high level. He can organize the defense, guide young players, and make big plays when it matters most. For the Cowboys, signing Wagner would solve a major problem instantly. The only challenge is money. He previously signed a deal worth of around $9 million. The Cowboys would need him to accept less to fit under their budget. But if they can make it worth, this would be a perfect move. Now let's move to another position of the need, edge rusher. If the Cowboys do not bring back Clowney, they need another experienced player on the edge rush. This is where Derek Barnett comes in. Derek Barnett is a Super Bowl champion. He has experience playing in big games and strong defenses. Recently, he had solid seasons with the consistent sacks numbers. He may not be a superstar, but he is reliable. He can rotate in, provide pressure, and add depth in defensive line. For a team trying to compete at high level, players like Barnett are very valuable. Again, the question is cost. His market value is not cheap, but the Cowboys can negotiate a lower deal. He could be a smart addition. Finally, let's talk on running back position. The Cowboys already have Javonte Williams, but they still need depth behind him. That brings us to the Hassan Haskins. Hassan Haskins is not a big name, but he is a hardworking and reliable player. He has experience and he takes care of the football. In his career, he has very few mistakes, which is important for the backup running back. He can contribute on special teams and provide support when needed. Most importantly, he is affordable. His contract would fit easily within the Cowboys' budget. That kind of the low-risk signing can quietly improve the team. So, what does all of this mean for the Cowboys? It means the team is close. They have made good moves, they have improved in key areas, but they are not finished yet. They still need leadership at linebacker. They still need depth on the edge rusher. And they still need support in the running game. If the Cowboys can make just a few more smart budget-friendly signings, they can turn this roster into a serious contender. At the 2026 season approach, as this season is coming, every decision matters, of course. Will the Cowboys sign Bob Wagner and fix their linebacker problem? Will they add another edge rusher like Delek Barnett, or will they focus on the draft instead? These are the questions that will shape the future of this team. So by now, thank you for watching us. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with the NFL draft. Let's break down everything step by step. Right now, most of the attention around the Cowboys is focused on upcoming draft. Fans and analysts are asking one big question. Will Dallas trade up in the first round to get superstar player? But while that conversation is happening, something else very important is quietly developing in the background. That is the future of the George Pickens. The Cowboys placed a franchise tag on him before a new league year started. That means he is granted a massive one-year salary for the 2026 season. However, there is still no long-term contract. And that creates uncertainty because without a long-term deal, there is no guarantee that Pickens will stay with the team beyond this season. And sometimes when teams face that kind of situation, they start thinking about trade option. Now here is where things get very interesting. A trade idea has been suggested where the Dallas Cowboys would send George Pickens to the Baltimore Ravens. In return, the Cowboys would receive a first-round pick in the 2026 draft. Think about that for a moment. First-round pick is extremely valuable. It is not just about one player. It is about flexibility, power, and ability to reshape your team for the future. If this offer is real, many people believe the Cowboys should seriously consider it. Some even say it would be a very easy decision. At first, trading star wide receiver might sound like a bad idea. After all, Pickens was a part of the offense last season. He made big plays and he showed strong energy, and he proved that he can be a number one receiver. But football is not just about today, it is about tomorrow as well. If Dallas accepts this trade, they would again gain something even more valuable, control over the future. With the extra first round pick, the Cowboys could have 3 picks in the top 20 of the draft. That is a powerful position to be in. What can be the draft strategy and possibilities for the Dallas Cowboys now? Now imagine this scenario. The Cowboys used 2 of their first-round picks to trade up into a top 5. That would allow them to target a true elite defensive player, someone who can change the games, someone who can become the face of the team and the defense for the years. Last season, the Cowboys' defense struggled a lot. It ranked near to the bottom of the league. That is a big problem, of course, but with the right draft strategy, that problem can turn into the strength. After trading up, Dallas would still have another first-round pick kept. That means they would still add another strong player, maybe a linebacker or an edge rusher or a cornerback. So, in one draft, they could completely rebuild their defense. This kind of the move is not just about numbers, it is about identity. If the Cowboys go in this direction, they are sending a clear message. They are saying we are building for long-term success. They are focusing on defense